All right, so negative exponent. When I see a negative exponent, it basically means to me that it's in the wrong spot. Okay, that's how I think about it. Now we've talked. Congratulations. We've talked about, we've dealt with some negative ones, right? Where we said we had a problem like this once where it was like x to the fifth over x to the negative 2. And you guys figured out that the top was winning by 7, right? So that's what we did. But really, what I think about is when I have a negative exponent, it means it's in the wrong place. What do I mean by that? Another way of thinking about this problem is that if I have a negative 2, if it's in the wrong place, if it's in the bottom, it should go where? To the top. So really, I think about this as going, okay, to fix that negative exponent, I put it in the top. When I move it, it becomes a positive x squared, and then we get x to the 7th. Same answer, same kind of thinking, right? So really what I mean by this is that x to the a will go to the bottom, and x to the b will go to the top. So wherever it is, it's in the wrong place. You move it, and you change its sign. So this very first one, the 5 should go down, the 5 squared should go downstairs, the 5 to the third should go upstairs, and then we deal with it and we say we realize that this is just 5 to the first power. I want to be clear here. Is this 5 in the top or the bottom? Top. When I don't put anything on the bottom, that means if I don't have anything there, that means it's in the top. You could, just to illustrate it, say that it's over 1, but we don't usually do 5 over 1. We write it as 5. These are in the wrong spot, so I'm going to go x to the third on top, x squared on the bottom. So I don't know about you, but I like to, as soon as I say a negative exponent, move it to the right spot. So we end up with just x on top. This next one, the 24 goes where? Bottom. Trick. Why is that a trick? Why is it not going to go to the bottom? Okay. I'm going to move stuff first, but you're right. We're going to end up dividing. But why does that 24 not go to the bottom? I just did all this time speaking about if it's the negative power, it goes to the bottom. Because the power is going to the x. That negative 5 is only affecting that x. So that 24 stays. That x to the fifth goes downstairs. The 2, does it stay or does it go upstairs? Upstairs. No. Downstairs. Stays. The x to the 8th goes upstairs. So I can, and you could have done that step of division there, and it wouldn't have been wrong. And now I got to clean this up. 24 divided by 2 is 12 in the top. X to the, which is winning the top or the bottom. By how much? Good.
Wait, so what if you did it the other way?
What other way?
The first one that you did at the top.
Say again.
The first one you did at the top, where you like add them. Why didn't you do it that way?
Oh, up here? I could have, right? So I could have said 24 over 2, x to the negative 5th, x to the negative 8th. Really, because this division, I should be doing what? So I could have said that my powers, I could say I know that this is going to be 12, x to the negative 5th minus negative 8. So that ends up being 3. So you can use the other rule. I personally just like saying if I see a negative exponent, I just move it. That's usually my first step. I take care of negative exponents. I take care of powers of the 0 because they're kind of easy. This next one, 4x to the 6 stays up top. What moves up from the bottom? All of it, right? because it's in parentheses, it's saying all of this gets moved up top. And then, and we might need scrap paper for today's quizzy, because we might need to write these steps out. Then I don't want to multiply these yet because I want to make sure that I realize that this squared is going to go to both those things. So it's really 4x to the 6, 25x squared, which gives me 100x to the 8th. The hardest part is we have to use all, we have 5 rules, is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, all 5 rules. And you kind of have to like figure out the order you have to do it in. Okay? And it's not cut and dry. Because you can do it in different ways, but as long as you're getting the right answer, that's fine. So let's do these problems over here. This is supposed to be multiplication. Remember, my printer did weird things. What do you want to do first with this? Parker, what do you think? We could add the exponents. We could add the exponents, or we could move that x to the negative 8 to the bottom. What do you want to do? It doesn't matter. Parker? Add them. He says add them. So we're going to go 5. Remember, numbers go with numbers. So 5 is just there. If I'm adding those exponents, I get x to the negative 5. I'm not allowed to leave a problem with a negative exponent. So what do I do? Switch them. So what's my answer?
Negative 5x.
No.
It's 1 over 5x.
Nope. Nope.
Oh, it's
First off, I want to tell you, a negative exponent does not make the thing negative. Okay? What does a negative exponent do? What did we just learn over here? Makes it a fraction. It moves it, right? Now it does. If it's in the bottom, it moves to the top. It moves it from the bottom to the top. Go ahead, Josh.
5 over x.
Yes. Okay. So first thing I heard was someone wanted this 5 to go downstairs. That's not going downstairs because that negative is not affecting that. Okay. This negative exponent just means move it downstairs. Okay, the next one. I'm going to show you a different way we could do it. So Parker method is let's just add exponents. And I kind of like that. But I might go, numbers go with numbers. So 3 and 2 is 6. And then I'm going to go ahead and just draw a fraction bar. And if it needs to be downstairs, I'm going to put it downstairs. Well, x to the 6 should be upstairs where it is. Y to the first should be upstairs. I already took care of the 2. X to the 5th should be down, and y to the 4th should be down. So anything with a negative exponent, I've moved it downstairs. Then I can say, well, my number's already been taken care of, so it's 6. What's winning in terms of x, top or bottom? By how much? I don't have to put a 1 here. What's winning in terms of y, top or bottom? By how much? No. 3.
So why don't you put x? Oh,
But there isn't values attached to the line.
wait, how do you know which one is the top or the bottom?
Say again.
How do you know which one?
So I did 6 first, and I said 6 was up there, and there's no number challenging 6. So 6 stayed up. X is being challenged by that other X. Which one's winning, the top or the bottom? By 1, so I just wrote that. In terms of Y, which one's winning, top or bottom? Bottom's winning by, there's a 1 there when there isn't a number, by 3.
So wouldn't it be 7x?
So 6 is being affected by what number? What other number's on there? Nothing. So don't think about it as like 6x. Think about it as 6. When we're multiplying, we're going to do weird things. You're totally right that if I had 6x plus 2x, that's 8x. This is what throws people off sometimes. But 6x times 2x is no, 12x squared. Because you got to add the exponents. Okay, next one. So we could deal with this as powers of powers, or we could take care of the negative first. I kind of like taking care of negatives first. That -5 is telling me I need to do what? I'm moving everything to the bottom. So 2x squared with a positive 5. When everything is out of the top, what do I put there? A 1, because it's multiplication. Okay. Okay, and then this 5 is going to get put into both of these. So I end up with 2 to the 5th, which, depending on the question, it may ask you to solve it, may ask you not to, but 2 to the 5th is, we all know, 32. X to the, nope. 10th. Powers to powers multiply. So we got to remember all those little rules. You went from, this is easy, to,
No,
okay.
I was just being sarcastic.
Ah. So this next one, negative exponent. So I could do it the other way. I could go 5 to the -3, x to the -3, y to the -6.
You put them all on.
So that means they're all going downstairs. What is 5 to the -3, or what is 5 to the 3rd when it goes downstairs?
5 to the 3rd.
So I think we usually like to figure that number out. What is 5 to the 3rd? 125. You kind of know, sometimes people get confused on how do you know you're done? Is there a number that can affect this 125? No. Is there another x that affects this? No. Is there another y that affects that y? No. If there's another one, you need to keep working. Okay. We're going to do this last ones down here too. Tomorrow we're not going to have notes, and then we'll get the group quiz for Friday. Mm-hmm. We're gonna.
Hopefully we will be done.
We'll be done. Tomorrow will be a full diagnostic day.
Are we doing a unit test on this?
We will, but this is section 1. Notice they're all notes are 6.0a. I did this last year in one day. That was a mistake. But
So is this like the easiest one?
I think this is hard. Okay, and
The hardest or not the hardest?
it's tricky because there's so many little weird rules and they're easy to forget.
Oh, so I think you taught the word you taught.
It's tedious, but I don't think it's tedious. I think it's harder than that. Okay, it's just tricky to remember all the rules. So, what do you want to do first here? We can take care of powers to powers, take care of negatives. Both. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and distribute the powers to powers.
Don't you have to do that?
Yeah, but I could also move this y to the 3rd downstairs.
No.
But that'd be weird because it would still be in the parentheses. So this is going to be 8 to the 3rd. X to the 6th. Y to the -9.
You put that on.
We're going to clean up by saying, okay, 8 to the 3rd is 521. X to the 6 is not being affected by any other x. Y to the -9, what do we need to do that? Move it downstairs.
Is it 12 or 21?
Yeah, she said 21 before.
Oh, I said, I'm sorry, 512. My bad. My bad. This next one, what does your gut say to do first? Okay, so tell me what your next what are you doing?
Wouldn't
Okay.
25 go on the
Switch
or
them,
H1?
make them positive.
Make them positive. I kind of like that. And then we'll answer your question. I think it'll still be there.
Or like, are you supposed to do like which one like is greater or like?
Are we talking about the number or are we talking about the x's?
The number.
The number, yeah. So we could deal with the number, but let's deal with it in a second. So let's go 5/25, and they said let's move things because they're negative exponents. This is going to move downstairs, makes it x squared. This is moving upstairs, makes it x squared. Okay. So all I did was, and it's weird because they're the same thing. They do eliminate. We don't really say eliminate. We say cancel. We cancel them. Okay. But let's go step by step. Let's see what the numbers first. The 5 and the 25. It's not subtraction. It's
One supposed to be like one.
yes, it's going to be 1/5. Why is it not 5/1? Because the bottom was winning, right? If I'm playing you in ping pong and I'm beating you and you say, let's start over, I'm going to be like, I still have some points. I'll start over, but you got to give me my points.
But why that's winning by 20?
It's division. I know that's a bad analogy there, but it's division, right? So I'm dividing this by 5 and this by 5. We subtract exponents. Yeah.
So if the top one is the one who gets the bottom.
Say again.
So if the top one is the one who gets the bottom.
Correct. If it was 25/5, and we've done this, if I take this out and I go, this is just a fraction of 25 or 5/25, and I say reduce that.
Yeah, but I get confused between what else is the what else is divide, what else is this?
Numbers work like they used to work.
So it's like just a reduced fraction.
It's just a reduced fraction with the numbers.
I didn't even think about that.
Yeah.
I missed it.
Okay. The numbers work like that's where it's so tricky, right? Because if I go, I'm going to go over here on a side note. If I do 2x squared, actually to the third, times 5x to the seventh, what makes this tricky is I am multiplying. I am multiplying these two numbers. When I multiply those two numbers, that equals 10. When I multiply for this, I didn't like that. Let me change this number to 8. When I multiply those, I'm really adding these and I'm really timesing these. And that's where it gets, because that's what the rules say. Because this is really a 2x times x times x. And this is really a 5 times x 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 times x. So that equals 10x to the 11. So that's where it gets confusing, right? Because we're multiplying numbers and then we got to add. Okay. This next one, what do you want to do first?
Nothing. I don't want to do that. Wait,
Okay.
it's just 1/5?
Yeah, because the x's, who's winning in terms of x?
Nobody.
It's tied, right? So you just throw them out.
Holy crap.
Let's make it not negative. I like it. So 2x to the fifth, negative fifth. What do I do with that?
Put it downstairs. C comes
Put it down where they are.
Downstairs is what I said. So x to the fifth is here. I like to go, Josh wanted to deal with this, deal with it. I like to just go across the top. So I dealt with the 2, check. I dealt with the x to the negative fifth. Y to the negative third goes where? Bottom. Dealt with that. Z to the 0. Top. Okay, we can write that. Z to the 0. 6. kind of like to put the 6 in front. X to the negative fourth.
Wait, why is the 6 at the bottom?
Because there's nothing affecting it, right? The 6 is just, there's that negative 4 only grabs what's next to it.
So wouldn't 6 go to the top and it's positive?
Yeah. No, it's
No, negatives get moved.
negatives.
Only negatives get negative exponents.
Oh, so
It's-
since it's
for-
on the
hold-
bottom,
hold on,
it
hold on.
stays on the bottom.
For this to be moved, it would have to look like this, 6 to the negative 1,
Yeah. Okay.
which is not. It's just a 6.
Wait, so.
I dealt with the 6, x to the negative fourth.
I have a question. What if it said? What if the negative? What if it's like negative 6x? Then would you have to move it?
No, a negative 6. This is different than a negative being in front.
Yeah.
A negative is just a negative in front.
So you just keep it. Where
Yeah.
it is. Okay. Wait, I'm confused on the why part.
Let me finish this step and then we can ask questions. So I took care of all the top. X to the negative fourth needs to go upstairs and become to the fourth. Y squared stays down. Z to the negative 2
Goes up.
goes up. Okay. Numbers do what numbers do. So the 2 and the 3 do what they do. And now I got to deal with the variables. If I wanted to simplify 2/3, 2/6, which would be 1/3.
Why?
Let me finish this and then you can ask questions. Z's. Z to the 0 and Z to the second on top gives me,
You add.
you add them.
You add. So you add. So
Z to the second, there's no other Z to challenge. Done. X's. X is winning top or bottom
bottom.
by how much?
5.
No.
1.
1. So it'd be X to the first. I don't have to put the 1 there. Y winning top or bottom.
Wait, there is no 1 at the top.
Correct. So it's winning in the bottom by how much?
2.
3.
Nope.
5.
5.
Oh, there's 2 ones.
That's my answer.
Yeah, I see
Okay.
I have a cool question.
Please.
What would doing this stuff help us solve? I don't even wonder how much do you I know we talk about this every time we do something new, but how much would we use this in other grades as we get into high school?
Hold on, IRL would be like. Or do we need this for geometry or like?
Yeah, well we do this
Okay, algebra 2. The negative exponents don't show up a ton, but canceling, yes. Knowing how things cancel.
Do we need that in real life?
In real life,
Yeah.
in 1968, have we had this talk
Right.
about the Sputnik, the satellite?
No, we have not had this talk.
Yeah. I don't know what you're talking about.
Really? We
I
haven't?
just remember.
No.
Is it the one with the Russians?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. We try to do. Next one.
Yes. You want to do it by yourself?
No, I want to see if I can do it.
Well, I'm going to give you a bunch to do by yourself here in a minute.
Wouldn't that make it one? Wait, I have a quick question.
The quizzy.
For number 4, since it's in parentheses, wouldn't that just be 1?
Yeah. So really, I feel like this Z to the 0, I would have taken it and just made it 1. With multiplication, when it becomes 1, what happens?
1. It just says it's a small question on 1.
It kind of just disappears, right? Because we're going to multiply by 1. So I like to start with the top. So I look at this. I'm going to deal with zero powers and negative powers. This 0 is affecting this whole thing. So that's just a 1. The Y stays upstairs. That Z to the negative 1 goes downstairs. I dealt with the top. Now I like to deal with the bottom. The 5 stays downstairs. The X squared goes up. Y to the 0 is 1. I could write times 1 if I wanted to, but I don't have to. Z to the 0 means times 1. I almost don't feel like I need to write that, but just to illustrate what's going on. So that's my first step, is dealing with the negatives and the zeros. Then I have to ask myself, who's winning? In terms of, we can go alphabetical order. X, top or bottom's winning. Top is winning by 2.
Do you not use the 1/5 anymore?
The 1/5, I can go back to it. I kind of want to just put a 5 in the bottom and not a 1 in top. Who's winning in terms of Y?
It would be top.
And there's really no challenging in terms of number, X, Y, or Z. So there's my answer. I would have accepted this answer because it's kind of done.
Are these as hard as probably gonna get much harder than this?
No.
Okay, these I
Maybe.
understand how to do this.
Yeah.
Well, like,
The hardest part is just, you got to, it's almost like you want to just, what do I know? Take care of that part. Now I got a new problem. What do I know? Take care of that part.
I mean, so like all these rules kind of go into one equation. Or is that
Yes.
That's how it works?
Yeah.
Okay. I understand.
Okay. So Quizzy is there. I'm going to give you 10 minutes.